Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy, Pfhorbear, here with another extremely delayed news video and in a slightly different format. So let's go over a few things that have happened in the last couple of days and weeks, and we'll wrap it up with a discussion over the controversial coatings system that's being introduced in Halo Infinite. First off, the infamous Grd Helmet is finally coming to the game soon with Halo 4 in the aptly titled Season 4's release. It isn't called the Grd anymore, rather that itself is a variant of the Akis helmet. On top of the helmet, the new EXO TS/CS chest piece will also be making its way into the Mcc for Halo Reach. There's plenty of lore to read up on for both armor pieces over at the Penumbra Cannon Fodder, so make sure you check it out at the link in the description. The new Troy Denning book, Halo Shadows of Reach, has officially released. I haven't read it yet, but I hear it's pretty good. I should be picking up a copy very soon, and I'll get a review out just in time for it to be irrelevant. I promise. Now, a big piece of news that we're talking about today is the Halo 4 Mcc Flight, which has finally kicked off, and with it a swath of new features for the MCC both on PC and console as well, I suppose. The biggest and most oft requested is the introduction of crossplay. That's right, if you have access to this flight, which I was very disappointed to receive the console version, but just yesterday finally got my PC invite, you can group up with your console friends and get to slay in. The flight also brings new options, such as a wider, in-depth video option suite. Now adjusting the visual fidelity of the game on PC feels like an actual PC game, which is pretty cool. The console will also be getting an FOV slider, at least for Halo 4. Finally, you will not have to play the game at the default 78-degree field of view. Crank that bad boy all the way up to 120 and relish in the fisheye lens. While we are on the topic of the Halo 4 flight, some really cool things have come out from people data mining information. Things like the fully textured Akis helmet I mentioned earlier is now in the game, some new Halo 3 weapon skins, some Halo Online armor and textures, which would very likely be applied to Halo 3 itself. The Revenant, which was cut from Halo 4, is now in the game files, and the Broadsword and Pelican are flyable in Forge. Perhaps the coolest thing, though, that was found in the files is a Halo 4 version of the Mjolnir Mark VII helmet from Halo Infinite. If this makes its way into the game, it'll be the coolest cross-game marketing move I think we've ever seen for a Halo title before. Thanks to R93_sniper over on Twitter for the info and images. I've linked to his tweet in the description, so make sure you go drop him a like and a follow. Finally, on the news front, there was a leak a few days back about a supposed Xbox event happening in early November. I usually don't like to comment on rumors and speculation, especially when it comes from 4chan. But there was one thing that we'd maybe care about. One of these items listed out to be shown at the event was as follows. Quote, Halo Infinite, updated version of the gameplay from the July event with new scenes, spring 2021, open multiplayer beta in March-April. Now, while a launch event for the Xbox Series X and S has been announced for the 9th in all of the various countries that it is releasing in, I don't know how legit this leak is given the seemingly mistake laid out in the last few words there. Spring 2021, open beta in March-April. The problem with this is if the game is releasing in the spring, the latest it could drop is in May, right? While Uni did get on Twitter and give everyone the big hype about a flight coming soon, I doubt there would be a big open beta in the weeks leading up to its release. I think at best we would see a beta in the spring and release either in late summer or early fall. There are some other little things in the leak that discredit it more, like Far Cry 6 being shown when we know that PlayStation is handling its marketing, and things like that. Time will tell, I guess, if we get a Halo Infinite beta early next year, but I'm not going to hold my breath over it. Finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Halo Infinite armor coatings. Now, I know that not everyone is super thrilled about this, and in fact it seems like most people are actually pretty upset about it, but let's go over it, what the system is, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. So, according to lead player investment developer Christopher Blome, coatings are, quote, a 7-layer shader that allows us to put any any artist-authored color, material, or pattern into 7 channels and apply it to in-game items like weapons, armor, and vehicles. Uni then goes on to say this regarding player customization and color selection, quote, "Coloration along with materials and patterns will now be baked into the coding, taking the place of the primary, secondary armor color options found in prior games. While we understand that many players are fond of the previous color system, we're very excited about the breadth and scope of armor, weapon, and vehicle customization options that will be available in Halo Infinite because of the coding system. Additionally, players should expect more robust per-piece armor customization choices akin to what was available in Halo Reach versus what was offered in Halo 5 Guardians. And as we expand our customization capabilities with armor geometry, materials, colors, and textures, it's important to the team that players are given even more opportunities to express themselves within the game itself. More on that later," end quote. There's a ton more in the community update, like how the Monarch coding and the Redshift coding vary in texture and how that will be on a per coding basis, and I highly recommend you go check it out for yourself to get the full scope of the system and what it entails. Of course, they also talk about the new weapon and vehicle codings as well, which are all pretty cool. Oh, sweet Halo gods, give me that blue warthog. And I don't think anyone has any issue with those, but I figured I'd bring them up and show them to you here anyway. Now, here's my take on it. We haven't seen it in action yet. I know that this can be a bit of a panic moment, but please just be patient. I imagine that at release there will be a good variety of codings that are included just out of the box. There will likely be more tied to both buying the campaign and unlocking even more via campaign activities and feats. We do know that hitting rank 152 in Halo 5 will give you one of these codings. This is also undoubtedly tied to the microtransactions model for the free-to-play multiplayer suite, and here's the deal. I understand that for a lot of players, choosing the color combos that they've been rocking since Halo 2, remember that Halo CE only had one color option, is the default thing that they do when they boot up the newest Halo game for the first time. I do it too, but 343 is promising us that this will not be as limiting as it appears to be right now. We don't know if the codings will be applied to the entire armor once we've selected our armor, or if we'll be able to mix and match them on a per armor piece basis like Destiny's shaders do. We did see the Mark VII Mega Bloks figure that had a red helmet, red arms, and then the brownish green chest piece. So who knows? Now, realistically, how often does the average player actually see their color selections? Now, I'm not saying that to spark a debate or to argue anyone's point necessarily, but I understand wanting to play PvE activities like firefight or free-for-all in PvP and see those customization options, but the average player will spend an overwhelming majority of their time in the team-based modes like objectives and Slayer. I understand being caught off guard by this. Personally, I'm open to it, and I'm excited to see what this lends itself to for overall player customization. Hopefully we'll get to see some more of that in the lead up to the launch and after the game releases. If it's absolutely the worst atrocity that 343 has ever yet to commit, then I'm sure that they wouldn't mind giving it a once-over and making adjustments to how the system works in time. If the Master Chief Collection has shown us anything at all, it's that 343 is capable of taking feedback and making changes, and we all know that the Halo Infinite slipspace engine has been built to allow for faster iteration. Now let me know what you guys think of the armor coding system in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out a ton. I know that I haven't been posting very often. I am intending to get back on that very, very, very soon. If you are new to the channel, you can catch me streaming fairly often over at twitch.tv/Pfhorbear, usually 3 to 4 nights a week. And you can also find me rambling over on Twitter about whatever I'm playing or doing in my day-to-day life. If you have something you'd like to see me talk about, then make sure that you tell me either here in the comments or on Twitter at Pfhorbear. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, be safe and have fun.